Minnesota Wild have been doing it the hard way this playoff season. On the brink of defeat 7 times, they have stared into the eyes of elimination and have not blinked. In Game 5, down 3-1, the Wild dug deep and once again able to find their offense. The Wild tallied 7 goals, earning them a Game 6 back in Minnesota and 1 more day to live. In Game 6, Minnesota retained the momentum and kept their unlikely dream alive. Now, the Wild are on the verge of accomplishing something that has never happened before. Coming back down 3-1 in the same playoff season in 2 series. Can they do it? Vancouver hopes not. Game 7 next. Looking out in front, trying to set up Reeves there. Held in at the point. Ohlund drops it. Ohlund's got a lot of room. His chance. Score!
Vancouver's control inside the zone was terrific. Sokol was patient. Ohlund fires the puck. It's the screen in front. Jarkko Ruutu jumping, bunny hopping in front of the goaltender, Dawyne Roloson. Does he ever see it? Southwest Airlines goal cam give you a pretty good idea. He didn't see anything except the backside of Jarkko Ruutu. One zip fan.
It's onside. Bertuzzi shot. Score!
Killer instinct. What a time for his first goal of the series. I think this one is touched at center ice. He gets in behind the defense. I think he gets a little touch from Sedin. Gets the puck, makes one clean move on a breakaway. That's always the best formula. Take it to the backhand. You know you have to go upstairs. You can't go any higher and still keep it in the net. Outstanding move by Bertuzzi. 2-0 man.
Boy, he rocketed that one. Look at the force he got on that shot. With Roloson this side, quick check away to the corner before he could get a shot. The league got the check on. Down on the ice they go. Looking. Hendrickson gets some help. Malik came back to move in. Malik came away with the puck, trying to drop it. Came right in front. Score! Unbelievable! The puck came over the net. Dupuis touched it. It is 2-1.
That is unbelievable eye-hand coordination. They're going to have to go upstairs. The light didn't even come on. That did go in. I saw the same thing you did, Gary. They knew it right away. Pascal Dupuis, who had a terrific chance in the first period and couldn't handle the puck. Watch this one come over the back of the net. And the goaltender can't find it. Dupuis whacks it in and out so quickly. Unbelievable. Stuns the Vancouver Canucks fans and the players on the ice. One more time. How's that for eye-hand coordination? They're back in it.
And no question, that was below the crossbar.
Oh, yeah.
That was 1.5 feet below the crossbar. Wow! That is just a bounce of the puck, Brian. I mean, it went off a stick and deflected over the net. There's no way Cloutier had any idea it was even coming. The Wild back on the attack, onside. Accident in, accident backhand, good centered shot, score! They tied it up, Walz! Mercy! A broken play on the pass. Walz had the puck, and Cloutier was on the other side of the net.
These guys are so opportunistic. When something presents itself, they jump on it. Wes Walz, who has not had the puck a whole lot in this game, goes to the front of the net. Vancouver seems to have everything decently under control. They throw the puck. Everybody's accounted for. Cloutier was just completely baffled by this play. Southwest Airlines goal cam sees him sliding across. He can't stop his slide. The puck goes off a skate, I think Baumgartner's, and it just sits there. Wes Walz comes in and cleans it up, and Cloutier sort of inexplicably is sliding out of the way. Walz gets an empty netter.
It wide. Bertuzzi in behind the net. A 2-2 game. 5:30 left to go in the third. And that reflects off a lot of folks out the center. Oh, mercy. You talk about the pressure being on now for both of these teams and each individual player.
It's almost as if overtime has started right now. Last 5 minutes of the game.
Hart drops it. The blast. Score! Darby Hendrickson! The Minnesota Wild have a 3-2 lead.
What a shot. I mean, what another blistering shot that Dan Cloutier had to deal with. The last one hit him in the head, as we showed you. What a smart shot the next time to come down and put it right at his feet. This one's right along the ice. Darby Hendrickson gets this one low and just blows it by Dan Cloutier. It's a little bit of a screen. You can see Cloutier is tracking the puck. Darby Hendrickson scored a screeching goal in Game 6 that was the clincher. Will this one be the clincher here? Wow.
Ryan, the Wild, they are not just writing a story, they're just imploding the record books and doing things that you're not likely to see in this game for a long time. Save made, rebound loose, Nelson patted it. It went behind the net. Vancouver with 4:59 left to go, down for the first time in this game. Game 7, there will be no more. Sobel's shot, that got blocked. Moved up to the blue line, not out. Barron was trying to pull it back in. Park's got it. Park comes into the middle, tries to draw it through, can't. And Sobel knocked it away. Cleared back in by Clapp. Into the corner, hand wrap around by Mitchell. Keep an eye on the time on that clock in this Game 7. As the Wild trying to win another one. Scott Morrison blocked to Mitchell. Mitchell trying to clear it up, can't. Big collision, and Roloson is down. He got run into by Zuzan, and I'm not sure how Zuzan ended up going into it.
Yeah, Zuzan got upended there, and he goes into his own goaltender. I think it was Todd Bertuzzi who may have pushed Zuzan. And Roloson, remember, has a bad groin. He's got a bad right groin that he hurt early in the series against Colorado, and it caused him to miss a couple of games. This collision was a dandy. And he's still down there in obvious pain. Here's some of the action in the series. That's where he tweaked the groin in Game 6 when Bertuzzi had that breakaway chance. See where he lifted that right leg and it was bothering him? Now this last shift, oh yeah, Bertuzzi. Oh, that one, you know what? That one sideswiped him though on the left leg. Watch his left leg. His left leg gets taken out. He's standing on the left leg. And when you're standing and all your weight is on, yeah, now he's flexing the left side. That could be anything. It could be a knee, could be a thigh, could be anything. But when you're standing on the leg and you get sideswiped, man, you can do a lot of damage.
Now, I did not see an original call on this, but they have opened the penalty door box. And apparently there's going to be a penalty for goaltender interference or interference of some sort on Todd Bertuzzi with 4:26 to go in the third period.
Well, from what I could see, it should be a form of interference because nobody has the puck. Okay, let's see. Is it going to come from the top of your screen? Yeah, Zuzan was taking his man to the net. Zuzan, the guy who just crashed into the net, number 20 in green, he's just coming back. Yeah, he doesn't have the puck. Bertuzzi pushes him from behind. That's a dangerous situation. And it is an interference call. I did not see an original arm up either, Gary. I agree with you.
I think that's what Vancouver is arguing about. Bertuzzi's not arguing. No, Brian, you can't do this. I mean, this has been the Achilles heel on this team throughout this series. They cannot stay disciplined at the most important moments of the game.
This is the key right here, though, too. Can Roloson stay in? Manny Fernandez hasn't played in the last couple of games. He would be uptight, to say the least, if he had to come in right now. Roloson's not going to go out unless they have to carry him off. It looks like that knee is going to be able to stay warm enough. One more time. Left side of your screen. Yeah, push from behind. It's a definite penalty. It should be called. It is interference. You can't do that. Todd Bertuzzi in the penalty box. He has taken more minor penalties and spent more time in the penalty box where he is now than anybody else. 60 minutes in all in the playoffs by one of their star players. Not good.
And with 4:25 left, you got a power play for a while. Worse. I mean, you're down 3-2. You got 4:20 left in Game 7. And here's the power play for the Wild. They've got it in the offensive zone in the middle. Comes back to the point. Kuba chance shot it wide. Park goes over to get it. Bertuzzi interference at 15:34. There have been only 2 penalties in this game. Both have been on the Vancouver Canucks. 0 for 1 on the power play for the Wild, but a put-away chance right here in this Game 7 for Minnesota. They'll work it back up near side point Kuba. He'll leave it. Ronnie centered it. That got knocked down. Again. But he hit it with a high stick. He's going to argue about it, but to no avail. ESPN gained access to the defending Stanley Cup champion Wings making their way through this past season. You can get a behind-the-scenes look at the team in the months leading up to the playoffs. The season, Detroit Red Wings, Part 2, Friday, 7:30 Eastern on ESPN.
Will Vancouver season end like Detroit's did? Darby Hendrickson is hoping so. Two things here. The power play for Minnesota has been really good in this series. Vancouver in the last game, even though they gave up some power play goals against, were dangerous shorthanded. They'll be going for it here, too.
That one, Ohlund trying to shoot through. It deflects all the way to the other end. 14:48 to go ahead. Hendrickson's second career playoff goal. Both have come in this series. Park and Susan get the assist. All the goals scored in this game have been 5-on-5 goals. Second power play is underway here with 59 seconds left on it for the Wild. Vancouver cleared it out. Moving it up near side of Cook, trying to find a little room short-handed. Matt Cook couldn't do it. And that takes it back into his own end. Minnesota scored 3 goals on their last 5 shots. And they have scored the last 3 goals after being down 2-0 in the second period. And they're on a power play. Center Cloutier had to knock that away. That one got directed directly on net. Roloson still short-handed. Vancouver Canucks maybe an odd man rush the other way. Ends up being a 2-on-2. In Goaltender save. That one deflected off the defenseman in front. That one got rocketed high by Todd. Held in far side by Dupuis. Cleared it around the near side. Richard Park. Park will drop it into the corner. They go to the front. Dupuis in there. Goaltender shot. Dupuis scores! Scores! Power play goal! The second of the game for Pascal Dupuis. And the Wild, incredibly, have a 4-2 lead.
Pascal Dupuis has not played in every game in this series. He's been injured, he comes back, and he gets chances in this game like you wouldn't believe. The first one he missed on, the second one he scored on, another great chance. Just throw it to the net. His stick is down, he's ready. That's the key for it. It comes right out to him, he puts it right back through the goaltender. My goodness, it could easily have hit Dan Cloutier, but it goes right back through the 5-hole. Minnesota are getting the bounces. They've worked hard. Unbelievable what they've accomplished in this series.
As the great late Jack Buck of the St. Louis Cardinals said in his infamous call, I don't believe what I just saw. I don't either. Down 2-0 in this game. Brian Burke, the GM of the Vancouver Canucks, looking, knowing with 2:33 left, it will require a miracle for the Canucks to come back just to get this game tied, to get it into overtime, as they have had 4 unanswered goals scored against them.
Well, there's shock in the faces, and there's anger from the fans. That's why there's litter all over the ice, and that's why we're having a delay here while they clean things up.
So we move closer to the conference final. We smiling. How would you like to have your name put on the cup with these guys? It is a long, hard journey. The conference finals begin on Saturday, ABC at 3 Eastern. ESPN 2 at either 7 or 9 Eastern. The East and West Conference Finals begin on Saturday. Check your listings for the game and time.
No team has ever come back twice from a 3-1 deficit in the same year and won the series. It's not over yet, but the Minnesota Wild are pretty darn close. They're tough to score against. They know it. They're full of themselves again. That guy has been an Iron Man for them. He bailed them out again early in the game. It's almost like a little bit of rope-a-dope the last couple of games. The Wild have sat back or been forced back by Vancouver, and they've withstood the charge each time. They wait for their chances, even though they were down in this game 2-0 early on. Everything was against them. They don't care.
They beat Colorado, a team heavily favored to win the Stanley Cup. They are now trying to beat Vancouver, the number 4 team in the West. John Clemaire's team finished 6th in their conference and tied for 10th overall. They were 24th in offense, but defense they shine. While Vancouver are the 2nd best offensive team in the NHL. And those faces tell you the hole they are in.
And Gary, don't forget too, in game 1, that guy Trent Klatt scored a big goal right at the very end of the game. Vancouver has done it before against Minnesota. They scored late goals and then won the game in overtime on a power play. So Vancouver still has it in them.
Still timeouts remaining for both teams. That delay caused by the stuff on the ice. Cloutier's gone to the bench. Empty net. Vancouver gets the extra skater. Save made. They're back up to the point. So Vancouver got to go for it here. Mitchell knocked it away. Naslund held it in. Naslund still has it. Empty net at the other end. Bertuzzi Shot into the middle. Never a shot on net, though. Centering pass. That'll be cleared out of there up along the wall. Sofa will come back with 2:05 left to go. This is game 7. This is to move on to the conference final. That is a two-line pass.
This Minnesota team bends but doesn't break, and this is one of the guys that really holds them together. Philip Kuba, we haven't talked a lot about him during the season, and we probably should have talked about him more. He gets as much or more ice time than any defenseman on the Minnesota Wild in any given game. He's the anchor. He's the guy that's always there in the shadows or right out there in front of the net, makes the good passes. He's got a heck of a shot from the point, but he's not been called on a lot offensively. He's just plain done his job.
Cloutier has to come back in because the face-off is in the Vancouver zone as soon as they get it up to center right. He will leave with 1:58 left to go. The Wild on the road at 1-5, lost 2 here in this playoff year. Cloutier empty net at the other end. Cleared up out of the zone over Jovanovski's head. Dupuis was looking for it as he was racing up ice. Sedin drops it off. Extra skater out there for Vancouver. Chipped into the corner. Still loose. Nobody can get a handle. Mitchell was there to knock the man off the puck. Stevenson tried to run it, couldn't. Hit by Linden to help hold it in. Baumgartner back for Linden. Linden a shot. Right through the top of the paint to the near side point. Held in. Jovanovski a shot. That deflected into the corner as it hits Sedin on the way through. Sedin dropped it. Looking into the middle. A shot. Save made. In front. Daniel Sedin the chance. Roloson with a save.
And Willie Mitchell right there to defend his goaltender, and he took a real lick on the side of the head. Mitchell's the one wearing the face mask again because he's got the fractured cheek. Was injured against Colorado, and he takes a lick here. Vancouver's taking it to the net. Daniel Sedin standing there. Willie Mitchell comes in, and look at the lick that Mitchell takes from Matt Cook.
Face off, one back. Morrison got it to the point. Here's Naslund. Naslund with 1:13 left to go. Vancouver down by 2. Bertuzzi trying to swing it around. Roloson there, blocked it. Bertuzzi trying to get it back the other side. Couldn't do it. We got an empty net the other way. Moved back into the middle. Couldn't connect with Clark. Sopel there to get it. 1 minute left to go. The Wild are on the verge of becoming the first team to be down 3-1 in 2 series in the same year and come away with a win. And they're going to do it on the road. They did it against Colorado on the road. They're going to do it here tonight against Vancouver. Linden leaves it at a point. Sopel, 39 seconds remaining in this game 7. The centering pass, block, Bertuzzi, save made, rebound, save made, underneath the pad of Roloson.
Bad groin and all, Dwayne Roloson comes up with the huge save, and it's Todd Bertuzzi who gets stoned again. The puck was loose. He had one chance at it. He tried to go underneath the pad. 44 White. Hold on, get over there. Roloson with a terrific job there. Bad right groin. Put yourself in that situation. Your right leg's sore. You get it out there anyway. You do what you have to do. Roloson, unbelievable.
We are down to 31 seconds remaining. There you see what we were talking about. A piece of NHL history. Cliff Ronning trying to clear it. Hit off to the boards. Goes in behind the net. Bertuzzi out there. Gets some help. Cook. Centering pass. Turnaround shot. Trevor Linden. Block. Moves up to the blue line. Vancouver. Jovanovski. 14 seconds left to go. Center shot. Another one deflected away and a chance by Sedin. And cleared on the empty net and wide. This will be touched. Jovanovski racing with 3 seconds remaining. The Minnesota Wild have pulled off what is the hockey miracle so far of this season.
Look at those faces. They can hardly contain themselves. There's only 3 seconds to go. They got the 2-goal lead. He's just tired. He's just tired. Yeah, he's happy. His heart's pounding so hard he can hardly keep that mask on his head. But he's got 3 more seconds worth of work to do. Vancouver had a chance there. Hendrickson all alone in front. He whacked at it and hit somebody in front. It's just not going Vancouver's way right now.
The Wild are going to be 6-0 when facing elimination this playoff year. The all-time record is 8 by the 75 New York Islanders. The face-off coming to the left of Roloson. The Wild can celebrate. They have won it 4-2. They move to the conference finals.
I don't think I've ever seen this, a team quite like this. When you set history like that, coming from behind 3-1 twice, never been done before. You can't say enough about the Minnesota Wild, their ability to shrug off pressure and know that they don't have any, and come up with the goods time and again. Vancouver Canucks, who had a terrific season, accomplished an awful lot. were favored in this series, and they couldn't quite pull it off. This was a battle that there was no way you could predict it was going to come out like this and play out like this. Man, it was great to watch.
A Game 7 to be remembered, and some NHL history by a Wild team that came in as the worst offensive club in the playoffs and right now lead all playoff teams in goals scored and in heart and in comebacks. And what a Western Conference final has been set up. The two Cinderella stories of the NHL will meet.
I was just thinking the same thing. Cinderella has a mirror image. There'll be two sets of glass slippers starting in just a couple of days. Minnesota against Anaheim in the West.
You picked that for the conference final. I remember you said that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Sure.
The Wild
that have done this, that have made history against Anaheim, that knocked off two Tiger teams, Detroit and then Dallas. They're sitting at home with a lot more rest than this Wild team has, and that's something that the Wild will have to deal with. You know what? They'll deal with it.
Yeah, they'll deal with it.
Yeah, we're tired, but we'll get there. Dangerous team, these guys, and that guy was terrific. When they really needed him, he stepped in. Game 5, Game 6, Game 7, and he has really gutted it out here in Game 7, and we probably don't even know how much.
There are some big smiles down there, and Dave Strader's got one real close right now, Dave.
Yeah, I've got Cliff Ronning here, who's spent some great years here in Vancouver. That makes this, I'm sure, extra special.
You know, it really does. Our team looked like we're out of it. You know, in the third period, we just dug really deep, and we've been a team all year, and we just found a way to win.
Cliff, I know we say that regular season stats don't mean anything in the playoffs, but you guys were not a scoring machine. How did you guys find the offense in the last 3 games of this series?
Well, I think we play a system that's, with Jacques, we play a very tight system. We're not really trying to score, but when the opportunity's there, we try to pounce on it. And we have some guys that have scored in the past and guys that are young superstars that are scoring now.
You get all of about 36 hours or 48 hours, depending on when you start. You have to look forward to Anaheim. Any thoughts?
Well, they're a team much like ours. They're very hard-working. You know, they added some major talent to their team, and we're the underdogs again, but that's life. It seems like that's the way we are. You know, our payroll's at 20, and we're playing teams that are double or more, so that just shows how hard we do work as a team.
Congratulations, Cliff. You made history.
Thank you.
All right, back to you guys.
And they did it, of course, winning these 2 Game 7s in situations where they had to play back-to-back on both Game 7s, both on the road.
It's going to be amazing to watch. Anaheim, of course, is sitting there with a terrific track record. We already talked about the 2 teams they knocked off and their goaltender and the ultimate confidence that Anaheim has been able to show in their team. I think Jacques allowed them to get better as the playoffs went on, and that's a big key. It'll be a great matchup.
Roloson in the last 3 games, a save percentage of .940. Magnificent effort. Dupuis 2 goals. Walz, Hendrickson a goal each, and Roloson with 24 saves in this one. Minnesota game-winning goals. Walz, Sagrash, Marshall, and Henderson, who comes from Minnesota, gets the game winner here in Game 7. Saturday, conference finals, both the East and the West. ABC at 3 Eastern, ESPN2 at either 7 or 9. Check your listings for the games on Saturday. Minnesota, Anaheim, regular season 2-2. But as the Wild have taught us all, this ain't the regular season.